Hello guys, you are able to hear me. I just want to do a little check that we are going to start with the right fit. So I just want to check if you can hear the audio. Please let me know. You can hear the audio, guys. Alright, it seems that yes, you are able to hear the audio. So, welcome to another class. Today we are going to learn the third part of the class that we are creating, that we are just using to create a racing car game. Right now we are just waiting for the other players just to be able to join the class. Okay, guys? So, how was the week? I want to know in the comments how was your week, if you actually advance in your projects and if you find some difficulties on it. So just let me know in the comments. And yeah, let's wait a little bit until we start the class. Let's give another players 5 minutes more just for them to join. If you want to access to this room to just play for 5 minutes with me while we wait for other players, it's going to be nice. Remember, the room actually UID is 2769323. With that specific room, you will be able to find me. It's just my UID. And yeah, guys, let me read you in the comments to see. Hello, Ben. How are you? I'm just playing with you on the other line. All right. So, okay, guys. So while we wait for the class to start, let me show you some of the maps that I created a long time ago. This name is Metal Warriors, and it's pretty simple. In this map, you are going to use different robots to fight. You can access and exit from any robot, and the idea is just to beat other players. Okay, each robot is going to have different abilities and different skills. As you see, also the robot has like a damage system, so we can destroy this one, and as you see, the city is completely destroyable. Okay, guys? And yeah, but just want to show you this project while we wait for the other players. Okay? All right, remember the room number is 2769323 if you want to join and test this. And yeah. All right, guys. So right now, as you see, you also are able to destroy all the city, and also you are able to exit from the robot anytime and just fly it around. And you can search for any other robot and just access to it. Let me show you an example. Okay, here is another player trying to kill me, but I already exit from the robot. Okay, so let's check. We have this specific robot, so yeah, you can just join to it, and it's going to have different abilities. It has the ability just to just fly. Oh, I didn't calculate that, guys. I think I'm going to die. Oh, yeah, I'm going to die. I don't gonna make it. Alright, guys, you see actually a noob move on it. So guys, we left 2 minutes more to start the class, okay? So if you at this point have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And with that, I will be able to answer those questions. Also remember that we are creating a Discord group. With this Discord group, you will be able to actually access and ask some questions if you have any questions. So yeah, we will be penning to the group in any time of the week, and I will be able to answer your questions, guys. So remember to just check the description to see the direct link to join to the Discord group, and yeah, we are waiting on there. We already have some players on it, some students. And on there also I'm going to submit some codes so that will help us to improve the map that we are going to create for this class, okay? So yeah, guys, so just join to that channel and let's see how it's going, okay? All right, we almost wait at the enough. So we left some minutes. And yeah. All right, guys, so okay, so I have to close the room and let me start the class. Okay, guys, so welcome by now to the new class. Today is going to be the third class, and yeah, we already see ourselves another 3 times and we learned a lot of things. Remember that the last class we learned some tricks to create the circuit, some tricks to create a track, also some tricks to just create the right blocks. And today's class is going to be focused just in triggers. Well, actually, we are going to do a couple of things more, but the main objectives on this class are going to be the triggers, okay? So, very important, just some quick reminders before we start the class. Remember that we are going to do this specific contest that is going to be the minicamp Fun for Car Race contest. And the only thing that you need to do to participate and be able to win some prizes is just to attend the live class, guys. Remember that the classes in English are going to be today at this time and tomorrow at the same time. So every Saturday and Sunday you are going to have the class. Apart from this week, we have another 2 class, and right after that we are going to start the contest. Just for the timelines or the deadlines, remember that we have to submit the stage or the work that you're going to do in this class. You need to submit it at max on May 9, and I'm going to personally qualify all the jobs or all the works or the maps that you submit to this contest on May 17, okay? Around May 19, May 20, we are going to announce the winners and what you can win with this specific contest. Well, on the screen right now, you should be able to see the different pricings. Or yeah, as you see, the different prices are going to be some for excellent artwork, which actually is going to take the best work. We have also some for the most creative. We have also a prize for you guys as you are assisting the class for the one that learns the most, the one that is more paying into the class and actually works better with this class. Also, we have someone who has the best progress to see, like as an example, how you start the class and how you end the class. And also we are going to have a short list. Once again, the short list is something that I'm going to choose with the other teachers. And we are going to choose the best works. To those works, we are also going to give a specific prize. Also, to let you know, during this class, oh, truly sorry guys, here is a 3rd class, actually, not a 2 one. All right, so for this class, we are going to have those prizes. Depending on the amount of viewers that we are going to have, I'm going to be just giving you a giveaway codes. Remember, guys, that's the number that is in the top, the number that is in the white circle is going to be the number of pricings that you can change. That means that it's an example for the mini bins. Up to 50 players will be able to change this reward, okay? For it, something important, guys, is that today we have this specific skin as a reward. So I know you guys like this skin a lot, so yeah, we are going to have that skin as a reward if we reach actually more than 500 views, okay? Another important things, guys, again, please join to the Discord group. On this Discord group, I will be answering during the week some questions. To let you know, this is going to be just a temporary group. We are going to create another one with all the teachers from this minicamp, even the Japanese teachers, the Chinese teachers. But for now, we are going to work with this one, so I will be able to just give you some feedback, guys. And remember, if you want to submit some photos about the process that you're doing, or you have some questions that you need some help with, just write me on this Discord, and I will be more than happy to answer all that I can, okay? Something important, guys, now in the notice, and just let me check, let me verify that we are actually live. Yes, we are live. I just wanted to discard, at the beginning I have some issues with it. All right, guys, just to let you know, for now, this is the pricing that I place for the assets on the resource center if you want to save some time. I prefer you guys to create your own blocks and your own plugins, but if you want to download it, just access to the resources center and you can download this. After we finish the class, I'm going to reduce the price because we are going to already end the class. But for now, I keep this price just to make you guys think a little bit and try better to create your own models, okay? Once again, something important is what we are going to do on this class. So we already ended the 2 previous classes. In the previous classes, we learned what is a racing game, how to create a concept, some questions about the process. Also, we checked some examples. We learned how to build the track, how to build the blocks, how to do some miniatures, advanced ones. And also we set up the checkpoints and the race finish just to this class, okay? In this class, we are going to create a system card, we are going to do some basic triggers, and we are going to learn how to add some buffs to the road. That means that if a player, as an example, pass in front or over a speed path, it's going to increase the speed, okay? For the next class, we are going to actually start working with the scripts. I know, guys, that some of you are a little bit scared about the scripts. Don't worry, I'm going to make you create some basic scripts that are going to be very easy to do, and you are going to start learning with that in the future. You are going to be very good at coding. In the next weeks, we are going to learn how to create the skin system and the shop system. And finally, in the class 6, that is going to be on the next Sunday, we are going to learn how to test your map, how to balance, how to publish it. And if we got enough time, I'm going to also give you some extra codes that we are going to use to just enhance our map, okay? All right, guys, any questions until the moment? Just let me know in the comments. I just pen into the comments, so I just want to know, guys, if you have any questions. Remember that I'm here to help you, so if in some part of the class you need some help, just write me in the comments, and I will be able to stop and take a quick look to it, okay? All right, guys, so as I understand, until the moment we don't have questions, we are going to start with this specific class. So, as you see, this is going to be like the different topics that we are going to pick up during the class, okay? So we are going to take 10 minutes for the waiting room, that which actually we already did. We are doing this objectives and the schedule. If you have some questions, we still have some time. Very important, we also are going to, as the main class is going to be just for triggers, we are going to take some time to first learn triggers for the basics of the triggers. I know, guys, that some of you already know how to use the triggers, but I want to introduce a little bit more the concept because some of players didn't, and I just want you guys to, all of you, have the same level, okay? We are going, after that, to start making some easy power-ups. Actually, are going to be very, very easy, and I'm going to show it in the screen. Then we are going to introduce variables. I know, guys, that this is a little bit confusing for some players, but we are going to learn the basics, and I promise I'm going to do it very, very easily, so you will be able to understand how the variables work and what will be the best way to use those variables. Next, we are going to start by just setting up your starting point and your checkpoints with triggers. That means that the work that we did in the last class is going to be used just to improve that part and have your map working with the checkpoints, the start points, and the completed laps, okay? After that, we are going to do some basic questions and answers. And finally, as I noticed, guys, in the last class that you liked this part, we are going to take some time to do some reviews to the maps and play with you. We are going to play together. And if you want to show me also some of your works, just feel free to do it, okay? So, starting the class right now, we are going to enter to the first topic, okay? So, we are going to start with triggers for dummies. And yeah, I need you to be very pending. Oh, I was forgetting this. During this class, I will need you guys to have a pen and a piece of paper because we are going to do some exercises during the class, okay? Why we are going to do some exercises? I really want to check how did you actually work with it, and I want you to think about the processes that I'm going to teach you, so you are going to be able to understand better that, okay? And yeah, to the one that is going to participate more, they're going to take some notes of it, and probably I'm going to send just a free reward for you guys to the person who answered better the questions, okay? Okay, so starting with triggers for dummies, okay? Well, we are going to start with this class. Just give me a second. Okay. All right, I hope, guys, you are seeing my screen right now. We are going to just adjust this a little bit. And all right, just give me a second here. I need to move this. We are going to move this a little bit, and yeah, so now supposed to be on its point. Yeah, now it's on its point, okay? All right, so what happened? What is a script exactly, okay, guys? I'm going to describe what is a script, and I'm going to do it with a simple concept, okay? All right. right, I'm just adjusting the screen. Give me 1 second. All right. So, important things. Let me do like a comparison in real or in a fantasy world. Actually, we are going to use our imagination, and I'm going to explain some concepts. Okay. So, what is a script in easy words, in easy to understand words? For me, a comparison could be the magic. Okay. Imagine in a fantasy world, you are magicians and you can actually cast some spells, some basic spells. You are not able to create a fireball, but you will be able to create some rabbits from a hat, okay? And in this magic world, we have a script or an action, okay? So imagine that you have a magic wand and also you have a hat, a normal hat. You know, the magicians loves to just create some animals with magic from the hats. Imagine that you have a skill or an ability to create those rabbits. So what did you do? You just move your word around, and what happened then? From this specific hat is going to create a rabbit, right? That's the simple way to just see it. Okay, so with this example, I'm going to show you how a script works. A script works with 3 different things. First, the script is going to have a condition. Second, script is going to have a condition, sorry. The first one is going to be an event, not a condition, sorry for that. The second one is going to be a condition, and the third one is going to be the action. So just check the screen and think a little bit. Which one in this example you think is going to be the actual event? The wand, the hat, or the rabbit? All right, I know most of you already know the answer, and yes. So in this case, we are going to use the wand as an example for be the event. The condition is going to be the hat, and the action is going to be the rabbit, okay? Important things. What is an event? An event is something that you do to start a trigger. As an example, just in game, okay? I'm going to show you an example that the developers that also use this kind of system to create a game are doing right now, okay? So let's move again to our screen in mini-words, okay? We are going to move to a new map, and I'm going to show you a simple, one of the basics triggers that developers from mini-world do to create this game. Let me start with any of those games. Let me start with this one, okay? So, when you try to break a block, which one is going to win according to you guys? Think about it. Correct. When you actually are going to break a block, the event is going to be that you start to punch the blocks, okay? You start to break the blocks. That's going to be the action that fires all the trigger. All right, so moving back to our example here. Now, let me know, guys, what did you think is the condition? The condition, it's going to be something that the event needs to check to execute the actions. As an example, in the same example that we show, the condition is going to be that the block that the player is hitting is going to be a breakable block. If the block is like, as an example, earth core, you won't be able to break it. That means that it's not completing the condition here. And the action is going to be very simple. The block is going to, if the event completes the conditions, it's going to delete or destroy the block. In this example, the event is going to be, as an example, moving the ward. The condition is going to be that the magician needs to say abracadabra. And the action is going to be that we are going to create 1 pony, okay? All clear until this point? Did you have any question? Great. All right. So this can be changed too, okay? So one trigger can have more than one condition, more than one event, and more than one action. How it works? As an example, we can create a second event to run these actions, okay? In this case, the magician can create a bunny, even if the magician only moves the ward, or also if the magician just snaps the fingers, okay? The condition is going to be the same, and it's going to create also when bunny. We can add a second action as an example. For example, we want another action after the magician does the trick. We want to create also a small bunny and one bunny that is going to be head over heels, as an example. Pretty simple, right? Well, if you understand this example, you already are knowing most of the basics for the triggers. So all of the triggers are going to work with the same logic, but we are going to have different examples. Okay? So guys, just to show you an example, I'm going to start to show you the triggers in actual game, okay? So what do we have for triggers in the actual game? As you see here, to access triggers, we need to hit this small button in the top is going to be the developer tools. On the developer tools, we are going to have different options, right? Once again, just hit the small button here that is going to be developer options, and you are going to have the basic, in which the last class we actually set up all the basic rules for the game. You will have triggers, and finally you are going to have scripts. We are going to switch to the trigger window. I am going to explain you guys how it works very quickly. So all these parts, all the part that is going to be at the right side and in the center are going to be our workshop, or where we are going to create those triggers, okay? Now, what you are going to have as basic elements here. On there you will have this specific window at the right side. This is going to help you to create some groups. The groups are just a group of triggers that will allow you to just organize it or have a better overview of your triggers, okay? On the trigger sets or groups, you can add actually the triggers, the real triggers, okay? All right, and also, apart from this basic interface, you also will have two options. One that says variable library and play modes. Important one is the variable library. That's going to help you out to create the variables that we are going to cover later. And also, if you access to a trigger set, you will have a button to create a new trigger. To create a trigger is just very easy, guys. The only thing that you have to do is to hit on this specific plus symbol, and that's it. You will have on the center now a trigger, your first trigger. And how it works? Well, it's pretty simple. First, on the top, you are going to see a small screen that says add some notice for your trigger. This is not going to be taken by Miniword, it's just for you to know what this trigger contains. So sometimes when you have a lot of triggers, as an example, I can use more than 100 triggers for my maps, you're going to be a little bit confused if you don't have some explanations about it, okay? And yeah, as you see, we have in the basic interface right here, we have the events, we have the conditions and the actions. And just below those specific topics, you are going to find the actual interactions with the system. So to create an event or to create an action or to create just a condition, you'll need to hit on the plus symbol next to it, okay? So when you hit in the plus symbol, you are going to get this new interface. On here, you will have some options, correct? At the right side, you are going to see the different topics for choose an event, okay? So remember, guys, an event is something that is going to start the process. Most of the times, the most easy one is going to be more related with players, because that's going to work when some players do something, okay? So as an example, if a player clicks on a block, the condition is that the block, like that, it's actually going to be, let's choose a block, let's say a dirt block, and that is very important, guys. So as you see here, before continuing, in condition, as soon as you add the condition, it's going to be with red. Red means that you need to set up something inside the trigger. And to set it up, that specific action, you are going to see the option, like group it here, this is a new action, you're going to see the different options that we have. So what we are going to say, if a player hits a block and the block type, it's going to be a dirt block, you are going to select on block type and you're going to get this small screen. On there we will have different options. Function library is like having some logic factors on it. Template library is going to allow you to choose directly which kind of block. And also we have some other options here. For this example, as this is a simple example, we are just going to use template library. And let me show you what happens when you hit template library. As you see, you can choose the different blocks. So as the third block is a nature block, we just need to select the block. We can choose grass or soil. So both of them are going to be dirt blocks, but this grass is going to be just on the top layer, and the soil is going to be in the internal layers. So for this situation, we are going to just to choose the soil. And on block type, you also have a function. The function, it's pretty simple. We are going to choose the block in the event. And what does it mean? It means that if the block that we hit, that's going to be the block in the event, is soil, we are going to run the conditions. So if you close down that, you can see that it's going to look like this. And very important, just in this example, the order doesn't matter. So you can use type of block event here and soil here, and it's not going to change anything. It's going to work just like the same as the example that I'm doing. And now we are going to add some actions. So remember the example that we create? All right, so we are not going to destroy the block because actually we can do that already. What we are going to do is to send a text message, and it's going to be pretty simple. Here we are going to choose what action. So the action that we are going to do is going to be for the player. And in this list, you can see like a general description about the action, so what the action is going to do, and it's very explanatory. So add an item means that the player is going to get an item. Change the view is just going to change the view, the camera. And under we are going to find this one that says display chat info. Display chat info means that the player is going to receive a message, okay? Once we add that option, you are going to see here that that's a new action. You hit on that one and we need to set up this red parameter. Remember, always if you see a red on it, that means that you need to set it up. First, as you see here, it's going to work for the players in the trigger event. That means for the player who breaks the block. So we are going to select here, we are going to have the same options of function that is going to allow us to create more advanced code, and input. Input means to just write the code directly, and we are going to say hello world. Okay, and yeah, we are going to save this and we are going to switch to play mode. So let me show you how it works. Right now, if I break a normal grass block, there's not going to happen anything, but if I hit, as you see, if you hit a dirt block at the right side in the chat, you can see that it says hello world. Okay, so until this part, everything is clear, guys. You are following me? I hope so. So, all right, on this part, we already covered the basics about what is a trigger, okay? Let me move to the presentation again. Okay, so we keep with example about the bunny, okay? And now it's time to come with the first activity for this class, okay? So if you have MiniWord with you, it will be great. If you don't have MiniWord, you can use just a piece of paper, and we are going to do the next exercise. You are going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to let you work in your own by 5 minutes because I need you to think about how you are going to do it. We are going to do a simple horn system. What does it mean, a horn system? Let me show you in this map that I already create how it works, okay? Just give me a second. And now you're supposed to see my main screen, right? The MiniWord screen. Okay, so probably you didn't know it, guys, but to the map that we create for this one, I add another system that I just want to show you for the class. And it's going to be the horn system. So how it works, let me show you. We are going to switch to play mode. And if you can hear the audio in my game, if I press or I do an emoji, yeah, it's going to make a sound, like a horn sound, once again. And not only that, you can also make some sounds to just let the players know, the other players, that you are playing and you're making fun of him. As an example, you can use this one. That is going to just loud from the other players. Or this one, that is just a fart. It's something that I did the game just to give a little bit of funny. Another one just to let the player know that you're passed through. So for now we are going to do the horn one, and just moving back to this screen. For this, we are going to create the trigger with the next event. When the player plays an emoji, that means when the player do any emotion on the player's interface, the condition is that the emoji is set, the action is make a horn sound. I'm not going to let you know, guys, which one is that sound, but I need you to work on it, okay? So for 5 minutes, starting now, I'm just going to show you this screen, so you will have enough time to actually think about it and see what will be the next steps, okay? So only for 5 minutes you need to think about it. And very important, in 5 minutes I will come back with you and I'm going to check if you already get the right results, okay? Don't worry, after that time, also I'm going to personally do it again and just change again and create a script again from zero. So I will be able to guide you step by step, okay guys? In the meanwhile, remember to create this, okay? We are going to start right now. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's start. And now that you're starting, guys, just to let you know, if you have some questions about it, I'm going to be in the chat. So just write me in the chat if you have any question about the process, okay? All right, guys, I see that some of you already got the answer. Kenzie already told me in the chat that he already knows the answer. We still have another 3 minutes to work on it, so yeah, I just waiting for you guys, okay? I'm going to switch also to Spanish to let know the Spanish players how it's going to be the activity, okay? Ok, chicos, estoy pasando a español. lo que tienen que hacer es crear para esta actividad un sistema de bocina sencillo para los vehículos. Lo que tienen que hacer con triggers es con un evento que sea que cuando el jugador presiona el botón de emoji y si el emoji es igual a triste, haga un sonido de bocina. ¿Ok? Tienen todavía 2 minutos para completar el proceso. Okay, guys, I switched to English again. I just was letting the Spanish players know that there are some Spanish players here. What is the activity that they need to complete? Okay. Yeah. All right, guys, we left 1 minute for this activity. Okay. So Kenny, if you, sorry, Kenzie, if you want to show or just post or just write in the chat, type in the chat the process that you follow to create this specific trigger is going to be nice, okay? While we wait for the other players. Okay, guys, so we left some seconds there. Okay, guys, I think that we already wait enough time. So, let's get back to the YouTube video, please, because we are going to continue with the class. Okay, guys? All right, so we write with me. Okay, so guys, probably some of you already know how to solve it. Just in case, for those that didn't know how to resolve it, I'm going to show you how it works and how it's simple is actually to create those kind of systems, okay? All right, so check my screen now. As you see, I'm already into MiniWord. Oh, I need to move this. It thinks it's moving around. Okay, now you're able to see me, guys. Okay, so if you see my screen, the script is going to be simple. Actually, it's very easy. We're going to switch to another map to create this script because this map already has the scripts and I just want to show you from zero how it works, okay? So let's move back to my map. Just give me a second. All right, so now you're seeing my game and yep, let me show you how the script works. Let me switch just to creative mode. In creative mode, we are going to create a new trigger. Just to remind you, a friendly reminder actually, and a pro tip is rename your triggers because you are going to get confused if you have a lot of triggers. This one is going to be horn 1 and we are going to create a new trigger set for it. So when we create the trigger set, we have to also change the trigger set name, okay? So for this one, we are going to do the topic effects. You can use an abbreviation of it, it's going to be easy to learn. Now you can hit on rearrange and move this to this one. Sorry, it's not rearrange, it's move. And hit where you want to move. Also, you can create this from zero. Explain to the system or explain to yourself, because you will need this later, what is going to do the trigger, okay? In this case, it's going to make a sound when the player uses an emoji, okay? That's simple. You don't need to take the long notes. Shorter is better, and just be specific and go straight to the point. Now for the event, what we are going to do? We are going to add a new event. We are going to choose player as you see in the screen. And yeah, it's very easy. Uses or using an emoticon. You already finished the 33% part of our trigger. Now we are going to switch to the condition. And yeah, as you see, we switch to player, and here it says determine emoji. We hit determine emoji. Remember, red means that you need to set up something. Here we are going to choose. So once again, template library is going to be the actual options that we have by default. On here, we can choose the different one. The cry or the sad is going to be this one. We close, and we already finished most of our trigger. Now, the only thing that left is to create the sound. For this, select actions. Under scroll down, you're going to have an option that says, almost at the end, that says sound effect, okay? And in sound effects, the only thing that you need to do is to search for the player. So in here you have different actions. This one is going to be played on the player. So as this is going to work on the player, we are going to select this one. And we also have to set up, again, the red part. The red part is going to be the sound. So it's going to tell to run the trigger on the player who plays the emoji. We are going to play it and a specific sound effects. Again, use the template library to see all the different effects. You're going to check for the one that is going to be actually the horn. The effect of the horn is going to be in the skill section, and it's going to be the number 7. Just hit confirm. For the volume, you can use any volume. I recommend it not to use more than 200. I use always 150%. And the key is, this is very nice, is if you want to have this sound a little bit faster or slower. 1 means 100 speed, 0.5 means half of the speed, and 2 means the double of the speed. If you want to mess up with it, it's okay. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it right now. And the important part of the end is going to be loop playback. And that means if actually the sound is going to repeat after the sound is played. As we only want to play the sound one time, we are going to choose false. False in programmation, in scripting, and in triggers means that is not going to work. True means it's going to be to do the action that is explained on there. You also can hear how it works by playing on this specific button, and that's it. Now you can test your map. Okay, so what I'm going to just let you see. If we move around and we choose the emoji, it's going to make the sound. Correct? Okay. And so that's it. As you see, we will be able to set up this horn system in less than 5 minutes. Also, you can be creative. You can choose different sounds for different emotions and for different actions. Okay? So we already finished with our first activity. Now we are going to start by making some power-ups. Okay, guys? So if you have any questions up to the moment, just let me know in the comments, okay? And I will be more than happy to answer all your questions. I see you want to hear a Lamborghini. Okay, that's not going to be possible for mini-word, but yeah. Okay. Kenzie, you actually didn't lose anything. We just covered how to do that specific trigger, okay? So now we are going to continue with the actual way to create the power-ups, okay? So it's going to be actual really simple. We are going to move back to my map. Remember the map that we were creating? Well, we are going to move to that one to show you an example, and later we are going to actually do or redo the trigger again, okay? So let me show you the example, okay? The power-ups are something that is very used in the card systems or in the card games. And what the power-up is going to do is just to increase the speed, as an example, when you pass over a speed path, or reduce the speed if you have something that you want to place in the game that stop players to move. So as you see on there, as soon as I pass in front of this or over this, I'm going to have a speed increased. Okay? And how it works, let me show you. Here we are going to start using our areas, okay? And it's pretty simple. Remember the textures that we create for the previous map? We are just going to place it in an area. And that's going to be just to show the players that when they pass through this area, they are going to have the increased or the specific effect. And just over that specific one, we are going to create an area, just like this. Remember in the last class, we covered how to create an area? Well, we are going to create an area over those specific speed paths. Remember to cover each one of the corners and to leave some help for the players, because if you actually do it with not too much health, maybe it's going to fail, okay? That's going to be all the setup for create those specific areas where you can increase the speed or reduce the speed. And now let me show you from zero how we are going to set up those specific areas, okay? So once again, I'm going to switch to another map because I don't want to mess up with this one as we already finished this map. And also I want to show you all the process, okay? So I'm going to move to my miniature map. Okay, it's loading. And okay guys, we are already back into this map. So as we already have those blocks specifically here, we are going to use this just to show you the example, okay? So we are going to use again this tool, the tool mode. For this, if you are in a computer, you can use F3 key, or if you're not in a computer, just can hit or tap on here and it's going to start this process. The first one, this first option is going to be the area. Remember when we select an area, it's going to be light on blue. The small square that creates in the front is going to be in blue. And yeah, that's it. We are going to be sure to create the area. So remember, we need to cover just all the corners. So you are going to hit on there. Then you are going to move to the other corner and be sure that the health is going to be at least 3 blocks. And that's it. As you see here, we have the base. Always remember to change the name. I know guys, some of you told me before that you are a little bit lazy and you don't want to give names to your areas, but believe me that it's going to be better for you to be able to manage those areas in the future. Just rename it as simple. You can say speed area or speed path, or if you want to just be very quickly, you can use speed from speed and number 1. And it's going to look like this. And yeah, we already finished on the setup for the basic part. Now we are going to just switch that. Now that is created, we are going to create a script for it, okay? So pay attention guys. Once again, we are going to create another trigger set, because what could happen is that you can have a lot of triggers that you don't know what they are made for. You can set up this specific folder or this specific trigger set as a power-ups. And the actions are going to be very simple. You access to the menu, you select player. On here, on the options for the event, you are going to choose enters area, okay? Probably it's going to have a different name. I don't remember well all the names for the processes, but let me search for it, okay? Attack, no, use props, click on a block, collision, motion stance. Okay, here it is, players enters area. Remember, red means that we need to set up that specific one. On here, we are going to choose the area, okay? When we hit the choose the area, it's going to show you again the screen and it's going to show you the different areas. And next to the name of the area, you have the button to confirm. You are going to hit the button. Remember, confirm. And that's it. Now you are able to see that it's set up the first part. Now the actions, as we are going just to make it quicker, we don't need to check any condition. So the action is going to be very simple. We select player, and what we want to do, we are going to use just effects for it. So we are going to add an effect. Probably you are going to note effects also as a status or as a poops. For this, hit again, and here it says player in trigger event. That means that the player who actually enters the area is the one that is going to receive the trigger or the status. Now we need to choose a status. Remember, and here we can choose any event, but we are going to choose template library. And on here we can choose or see all the events that we have in mini words. Quick explanation, harmful effects are going to be everything that damage or reduce your player specific features like the speed or receive damage. The second one, beneficial effect, that is going to be in green, are effects that are going to increase your stats or give you a benefit. And neutral effects are some extra cool things, like as an example, grow up or change the model. So it's something that is not like harmful or beneficial, it's just in the middle, okay? So for this, we are going to choose a sprint. A sprint is a buff that is going to increase your speed, and the number one of the level one is going to increase the speed by 25%. Important, guys, later on this class, I'm going to create and I'm going to give you for free in the Discord group and also in this group, in the next class, a trigger to make the turbo system. And the turbo system is going to use those effects. So it's very important that for this system, I recommend it to use the same buffs that I'm using right now, because with that, we are going to be sure that the trigger, that the script that I'm going to pass you is, or give you is going to work fine, okay? So guys, remember, select sprint level 1, confirm, remain, you are going to choose false, and for seconds, you are going to choose for how many seconds the player is going to have this extra buff, okay? In my personal opinion, that depends of your game. I didn't use that much because I want the player just to get in extra speed for some small amount of time. But you can choose whatever you want. If you want to give a specific buff for a whole lap or something, just place in here. So I'm going to give it for 2 seconds. We are going to close this, and we have the first part of our trigger ready. We only left to get a description here. Add speed when enters area. As an example, you can place wherever you want. And also you have, remember, rename your triggers, okay? So here I'm going to say speed up. And that's it. Let me test the trigger. So as you see now, we are in play game. And as you see, and now I'm a little bit faster for 2 seconds when I just pass over this area, okay? Now, you probably are guessing how it's going to be simple to create another basic examples, okay? As an example, you can change this for actually slow down the player, and it's just going to be that simple. The only thing that we have to do is access here. Once again, we are going to use the trigger editor, and on there we are going to change this specific to, as an example, don't change it in yourself, or just try if you want it, and slow number 3, and we are going to increase the amount of time to 10 seconds. And now let me show you what it's going to do. It's very simple. Again, if we access to this specific location, when we move, it's going to reduce the speed. As you see, I cannot walk that much faster. And it's going to be for 10 seconds. So now, guys, you know how to do some basics. But this class is not to make in basics, it's to make an intermediate systems, okay? So now we are going to enhance this experience, okay? Because if you're just doing like that, it's going to be kind of normal, okay? So you need to amuse the players, you need to make the players think that your game is unique, so we are going to do some extra tricks to do it, okay? Probably before changing the buffs, and let you know how I do for changing my buffs, sorry. You are having the same issue that I have here, and as when you create a texture block, you actually are having this issue, and it's that the block collides with the player even if there is no image on it, and it's a little bit annoying, and it's going to stop the player. So I'm going to also edit this block. Remember, guys, I teach you how to do it. Yeah, we are going just to do the same, okay? So what we have to do to avoid this block to stop players? First, we need to actually use this specific tool. That is going to be very useful tool. It's a tool that allows you to edit the blocks and the creatures on game. It's going to be this one. You can find it in the developer options for the for the inventory, you are going to click on the block and it's going to just let you know which kind of block is it, okay? It seems that I use for this one, the miniature one. You shouldn't be able actually to edit the miniature, so we are going to create a new block from zero. Okay? So let me show you. We are going to create a block. You can use any block that you already have, or you can create a new one. For this one, I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to add it. Name is going to be speed block. The model is going to be the model that you just created with me the last class. The one that you are going to use for the speeds. So let me show you. I'm not sure where I have it. Okay, yeah, it's right here. So now we have the block, and now we are going to set the attributes. Once again, just like a double check, because I already teach you guys this, but I need you to do a double check over it. The blast resistance is going to be -1. The hardness is going to be -1. It's important because with this, you're going to make your block not to be able to be destroyed. Okay, so remember, even if you place a 500, is going to be destroyable, but if you place -1, it's not going to be breakable or damaged by missiles or explosions, okay? In sliding acceleration, we have to have the same sliding acceleration of your floor, of your street. Remember in the first class, we checked that? Well, you have to have the same one. My recommendation is going to keep it on 1.8, but that depends on you guys. And very important, burning speed 0, odds of burning 0. With that, we are going to avoid the block to start burning. And the light intensity, that depends on you. You will have, as an example, a night map. You can use 15 to make it look great. Drop items, probably you are going to see it at the beginning, different to this. Probably you are going to see the block here. Just hit the minus icon in the top right corner of the small square, and you will be able to remove it. And the most important thing goes here. To avoid the player to collide with it, you are going to choose or switch this specific one that says solid in collision, and you are going to switch it to air. Broken by a projectile needs to be off and safe. Now enter your game, and we are going to replace the old blocks with this one, and as you see now, it's going to work fine. Just let me show you. Okay, first we are going to choose the blocks that we just create. That is going to be the speed block. We are going to destroy this one. Okay, so we almost over. So just place the blocks in the floor and check. Now the blocks are not going to reduce my speeds or intercept me, okay? Okay, now that we already have that part like fixed, let me show you how we are going to do to change our buffs. So I need you to leave from the map that you are creating right now. Now that you leave from the map, we are going to just select the map again, and on the menu that you are going to see before the thumbnail, before the preview of your map, you are going to select the plugin editor. Now we are going to create a new status button, okay? On here you can create new status, as we are working once again with the turbo systems that I'm going to give you guys. Don't create a new one, modify the previous existing one. Remember which one was the buff that we had at the beginning? Yeah. Think about it, and yeah, it was the spring buff, correct? All right. So now that we are going to modify the spring buff, so we need to select the same one, okay? So hit on new, hit on edit, that will allow you to choose a buff that you already have here and modify it. You're going to choose the first one. On here you are going to see just a spinning or a sprint number 1. I already changed that. That's why I got turbo here. But what we are going to do is to change. Okay, so you are going to get on here sprint number 1, sprint number 2. So you are going to change the name. You can choose turbo or speed up, whatever you want. And important things here. So first we are going to change the status icon. Choose something that is more related to your game. In my case, the same icon is going to work, but you can be creative. You can use this one as an example. The special effect, you can choose any special effect. For my map, I choose this one. But as an example, you can get some fire getting back from your card, okay? And let me show you how it works. So you only change the effect. You are going to select smoke. And on here you can choose the effect 17. Okay, and here you have to give a description to your effect. On here you can choose whatever, like get extra speed. And also you can specify how much speed you are going to have. Now in sound, you can choose any sound that you want for it. My recommendation is to use something that sounds great. Please try to select a good sound. You don't want the player to be overwhelmed, but a sound that is a little bit noisy and it's going to be a little bit upset. So as an example, we are going to choose this one that is going to be like something that is speeding up. Now we are going to move from appearance to effect. In effect, you are going to select which buff. So you are going to have this one. You can add more effects. The only need that you need to do is to hit on here, edit, and choose how much. So right now, if I move the slider, I'm going to increase the speed, and you can see here how much speed I'm adding to the process. I just want to add a 25%. That's going to be something cool, but it's not going to be like broken. You can confirm. Remember that in MiniWare, the speed works in different values, okay? So what we need to do in this situation, we need to choose different speeds, because if you only change the basic speed, it's just going to change the walking speed. We also want to change the running speed and the sneaking speed, just in case the player uses that. So for this, just hit on there, add new effect. Now we are going to choose change moving speed again. On there, we are going to select here on the top, you are going to see a small square. And on there you have different options. You are going to select running speed. You are going to set it up also to the amount that you want to increase the speed. In my case, is going to be 25%. Now we are going to select again the same option that, remember, is going to be changing speed. We are going to select this time sneaking speed and 25%. And if you are thinking about adding all of them at the same time, we didn't have that option yet. I think maybe MiniWorks is going to implement this in the future. For now, we have to choose each speed apart, okay? So yeah, we already have the model. We already have the effect. Now we are going to choose how this specific system behaves. Some time doesn't matter, limited also doesn't matter. On here, be sure that it's going to see positive status. Those three switchers needs to be off because we don't want the buff removed, or we actually want to have the buff removed. If you hit don't remove after that, the players always are going to have this effect. Active, this means the second one means that if the player attacks is going to be deleted, so we don't want that. And also we don't want the player when it gets hit to destroy this effect. Okay, so we are going to save and return, and you are going to have this effect added here. First we need to select it and then add it to the game. You are going to see it in the game right now, but we won't be able to use it unless we enter the game. Okay, and let me show you now. Okay, it's loading. All right. It seems that I have to search manually for my position because this system just moved me to the initial spawn. Okay, so give me a second. We are going to change the settings to know where we're going. And yeah, it's because I have a lot of miniatures here and experiments, so it's going to be a little bit hard to find it if I didn't change the vision. I remember that I choose this area, so let me move to see. Let me increase this a little bit more because it's going to take a long time if I didn't change that. Okay, there are some effects, so yeah, just I use this time also to show you the effects that I create here. Okay, it's not around this area, that's for sure. Okay, let me see if I can fly a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, it's around that area. All right. Okay, so we're almost reaching the specific area where we left. Okay, I think it's that area. No, it's not that one. Okay, it's around those boxes. Yeah, it's around this area. Okay, here we are. Okay, guys, so I'm just reaching that area, and I'm going to let you or show you how it works now. For this, also, I'm going to switch to the third camera because I just wanted to show you also the effect that we create when we change actually the move. Okay, so right here I'm going to change this. In basic, I'm going to switch to third person, and let's play the game. Okay, so right now, as we keep it on the last or on the previous effect that is going to slow down, we are going to get slowed down instead of the other. Please notice each time that you pass on over it is going to actually get the full timing again for the buff. So that means if you pass 3 times over it, it's going to again give you 10 seconds of the effect that you choose. Okay, so as you see, when we change the script, now you are going to see in the menu the name and the icon. Okay, select it, and yeah, let's test it. As you see, I got the effects here for 10 seconds that allows the player to know that he's having some speed increased. Okay, and as soon as the effect finish, the player is going to lose that. Also, it makes a sound. And that's how we create a basic speed up process. Okay, also, as we already know how to do this, we are going to do a quick review over the second one that is going to be the speed reduction one. Okay, once again, select status, add the new status. This one we are going to choose a different one. Okay, you can use whatever you want. For my personal map, I use this one to just the player make a stun by reducing all the speed, but you can choose whatever you want. We are going to use the first one that is going to be slow level 3. It's on the first square. Actually, I already changed it. As you see here, it says stunned, no speed or no movement. But you are going to see just this icon, and it's going to see slow or say slow level 1. Okay, choose that one. Choose any name that you want it. In this case, I'm going to choose a stun. It's very important. You can choose also the effects. I personally choose the sound and these specific effects. Take your time to decide something that looks great. In the speed, you are going to choose here the next setups to make the player completely stop. Okay, so we are going to reduce the speed to minus 100%. Minus means that it's going to reduce. Okay, plus means that it's going to add more speed. So also choose the running speed to minus 100%. And finally, the sneaking speed also is going to be minus 100. Okay, so we already have the basics. On here, on attribute systems, we are going to change to negative status because it's going to be a negative one. Everything is going to be just like it is. Don't change that. Save and return, search for the effect. That's going to be a little bit hard. Okay, energy shield, stun right here. So another clarifications, guys. You are going to see different colors. The ones of the frames that are in orange color are new items or new buffs. The ones that are in white are going to be the ones that you just modified from the system. So we are going to choose the white one. Okay, we already added to the system, and you are going to see it right here. Okay, and yep, let me show you the magic now. Okay. So right now what we are going to do is just a simple system. Instead of having like a speed buff, we are going to place some orange blocks here. Let me switch to first person to be a little bit quicker. Okay guys, so what we are going to do when the player enters to this area, instead of getting an speed, it's going to be like stun. So let me show you how it works, okay? Pretty simple. We create here the area. Oh no, that's not the area. Remember, we are going to choose the tool. To create the areas, we are going to select one side. Now, once again, we are going to choose an area from corner to corner and 3 squares up. We are going to rename it as a string number 1 or string number, any number that you wanted. And we are going to create a new trigger, just like we did before. As we already have like a template for it, the only thing that we need to do is to copy and paste the trigger here. Change the name, of course. You can choose stun. With that, we are going to save some time and we don't have to do it again. We are going to choose now the area. The area is going to be the one that says stun number 1. We are going to now change this. We don't have the speed up. We want to give the player the stun effect. It's going to be the first one. We're going to stun the player for how much time? I think 10 seconds is going to be too much. Think about the player. It's going to be fun to be stunned, but not that much time. So let's choose 3 seconds, okay? Just to show you how it works. And now let's play the game. So let me switch again to third person. And that's it. As you see, I get stuck here for some seconds and now I can move. So with this, you can also make some obstacles on the way. And remember, whenever you give this buff to the player is going to be stuck. So later we are going to learn also how to do an item that's going to stun the player. All right, so we have already set up our basic setups for having some basic buffs on it. Okay, check this. So now we can continue with the next part. As you see and as we covered, the scripts are not going to be that much difficult. Also, the triggers are not going to be, because are going to be the same thing, okay? Now, guys, I'm going to switch again to the app, to the presentation, sorry. And you are going to be able to see that we are going to work with the next topic, okay? And what are going to be the next topic? We are going to start messing with variables. Okay, guys, so I didn't read the comments. I just want to know if you have some experience with variables, guys. So just let me know in the comments if you already have been worked with it before, okay? So I'm just checking the chat now, so let me know if you are able to actually manage this, okay? Or if you have some difficulties to learn that, I will check that information and I'm going to do my best to just clarify it or explain that questions, okay? All right, as I see that you don't have any questions, we are going to now see some information about variables, okay? All right, so I want to explain you guys just as an example that we followed before for the how it works for the trigger. I'm going to explain you how the variables work. So just give me a second. We are going to adjust here. Okay, so now you are able to see my screen, correct? For the presentation. And let me explain how it works. So a variable, it's some specific objects in the game that is going to have some different options or qualities. Okay, so the first one is going to be the name. Okay, so as any person on here, we are going to have a name. The variable is also going to have a name. Why? Because you need to have a reference for it. And also the variable is going to have a specific value, okay? How it works, as an example, you can have a variable that is actually a glass of water, and you can have some specific content for this variable, okay? In this case, we are going to do the example with a glass of water. So a variable is going to be a container. It could be any kind of container. In my example, I'm going to use a glass of water just to explain better, but imagine that the variable is just something that contains something inside. You can imagine a box, you can imagine, I don't know, a briefcase, a chest. So we put something inside that chest, that glass, that variable. So as an example, inside a glass, you can have different liquids. You can have water, you can have orange, you can have some Coke, you can have milk. Okay, so the glass is going to have different kind of content inside, okay? So as you see, a variable is going to be the name, and inside is going to have a content. The content is going to be the value. and the name is going to be the variable itself. Okay, so that's the simple example to start. And why this is important, okay? Because as we are going to work with variables, we don't want the player to have some confusion. So just imagine this. When you are doing a game, you want the player to drink the water or the orange juice or the Coke. If you use a variable, you shouldn't have to do a trigger for each one of the contents of the values. You just can make a trigger that refers to the name, I mean the glass, the container, the recipe, or just the container that you are going to use, and you can change anytime with codes or with triggers the content inside this specific container, and the player just will be able to drink anything that is in the glass. So as this example that you are seeing in the screen right now, the player, we create a variable that is going to be the glass of water, okay? And the player, it's actually going to be able to drink whatever is in it. As you see here, we can have different values for it, okay? So the variable is going to have anything inside, and yeah, we just can refer very quickly to it, okay? So that's just like the basic explanation about the variables. So now imagine that we actually have more than one kind of container, okay? So the class is just going to be one kind of container. We can have more of them, okay? So we have like any kind of container, and which one is going to be a variable. As an example, you can have one container that is going to have the player name, another one that is going to contain the coins, another one that is going to contain the life of the player. And as you notice, right now, as I mentioned, the variables is something that MiniWord uses all the time because, yeah, our player is going to have one life that is going to be the first variable. It's going to use some mini coins to get some skins. The skin is going to be a variable, and also the amount of money that the player has, okay? So important things, as you are seeing in the screen, and just as an example, we can have different kind of containers. So as an example, you have a coin, okay? So for the coin, we are going to use the first container that is going to be numbers. So it's going to be a variable just to read numbers. Apart from it, imagine that you are going to have a pet on the game and you want to give your pet a specific name. Okay, so for this specific name, we have a container. So anytime in the game, you will be able to change the name of your pet, and you are going to have that container. That is going to be the third one is going to be strings, and strings means anything related with text, okay? Finally, you can check simple questions. As an example, if the player is alive or not. Those simple variables are going to be named as booleans. And what they do, they also have two values. They have true or false. So if the player, as an example, is alive, it's going to say true. If the player is not alive, it's going to say false. And with that, you can do simple things like, as an example, give a coin if the player is alive. If he's not alive, you are not going to give the coin, okay? For most of the games and for most of the programming settings on the programming languages, those the three first are going to be the basic one, okay? So you can find those variables in any game, any language. But MiniWord also offers some extra variables that are going to be very useful. As an example, you can have a container that contains locations. That means, as an example, you can change the spawn location for any player, okay? Also, you can have one that is called creatures, and with that you can have a pet as an example again, and you can refer to a different creature. That means that if you kill your mob, you can choose a new pet. Also, you have timers. The timers are going to be just the countdowns that you are going to find in any map. The one that says it's remaining 20 seconds to start the game or something similar. And though these are going to be a different kind of containers. As you see, as you have different kind of containers, you cannot mix them, okay? So actually, I'm lying on that, you can do it, but you have to transform them. So to be able to mess numbers with strings are, this one is going to be a glass of water and the other one is going to be just a box. If you mess the glass of water inside the box, it's not going to work fine, okay? So first you need to convert the content in the box in some liquid, and then you can mix or read and just mix this with the content inside the numbers, okay? Clear until this part. What's going to be the next? Well, the next part is that now that you know that there are variables and also there are kind or classes of variables, we also have two important groups of variables. The first one, and the one that is at this side, is going to be the global variables. And the second one is going to be the private variables. How it works, I know it's a little bit confusing, but it's pretty simple explanation. Global variables are going to be a variable that works the same for all the players and for all the map that you are going to create. As an example, when you have gravity in game, the gravity is going to affect every player, and the players are going to have just the same gravity, okay? That is a global variable. It's going to work the same for all the players, all the creatures, and all the features in the game. Also, we have different kinds of global variables. We have locations, we have numbers, we have strings. All the kinds that I showed you before and more are going to be global variables. Right or next to it, we have private variables. And this is one of the most powerful tools of the mini word. And why it is one of the most powerful tools? It's very simple, guys. These private variables are going to work per player. That means that each player can have different values for this variable. So you may think in, well, how it works. Okay, pretty simple. Check the life of any player, okay? So if you're playing with your friends, probably you get some damage and your friend is having the full life. So as you know, there is going to be a variable that is going to be named as life. And as you see, it can change for every player. So that's actually very powerful because we can change the amount of money for one player, we can change the location for one player, and we can do a lot of things with it, okay? Very important, remember, global variables and private variables are going to be different. One works for all the map and the other one works for each player. Some examples that I have here, as I mentioned before, some examples of global variables that MiniWord already have, that you don't have to create and the MiniWord used to play. It's the gravity, the weather, the time, and the biome, okay? So when you are in a specific time, all the players are going to have the same time. When you are in a specific biome, you are going to have, as an example, variable number 1, it's going to be desert. Variable number 2, it's going to be grasslands. Variable number 3 is going to be space. That's also a variable. And some examples about private variables are going to be the life of the players, the location of the player, because all the players are going to move on different points, so they are going to have a different location. Something important is the UID. This is also a variable, so the number that you see under, it's a variable. And as an example, the amount of kills that a player has in a specific game, okay? I think now it's clear enough and you have the basics for just create some variables and start understanding them, okay? So before to enter to the practice and see in game how it works, let me just explain some specific systems that you only can do with variables. As an example, you can, when a creature dies, you can drop X number of coins. X means that it can be a random number of coins. Or as an example, teleport to a random location. If you think in some steps ahead, probably you know that by teleporting to random location, you can create different areas in your game. As an example, you can create multi-arenas. That means that you can create more than one specific place to fight with other players. And in this specific game, with variables, we are going to learn how to save how many laps the player actually has complete. Okay? All right. So I know that, guys, this is a little bit confusing and it's only theory. So what we are going to do now, we are going to do a specific activity before continuing, just to be sure that you are going to have the information. So right now I need you to just take a paper with you and also a pencil. You can use also a pencil, a pen, or anything that you can use to write down. And we are going to do another activity, okay, guys? So if you're seeing my screen, you are going to see the activity. It's pretty simple. We are going to take note of the next thing for 5 minutes. I'm going to let you work alone, so you will have the time to think. And what you are going to do is that you are going to read the name of the variable that you have on the screen. In this case, it's going to be hunger, armor, hour, number of players, and all the other information. And you are going to take note and say or place in front if it's going to be a private variable or a global one, okay? Remember what is a global and a private. Global is for all the map. Private is going to be for the players, okay? So starting now, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to think about it. And yeah, okay guys, in 5 minutes, I'm going to come back with you. I'm going to also check the chat just to see if you have any questions. Okay, guys, I see that some of you already have some answers. We also see that some people is asking in Spanish, so I'm going to switch to Spanish again to explain the exercise. Chicos, lo que tienen que hacer es revisar las variables que puse en pantalla. Lo que tienen que hacer es determinar si es una variable global o privada. Recuerden que las variables privadas son las variables que funcionan solo para un jugador y las globales son las que funcionan para todo el mapa. Okay, guys, and yeah, switching back to English, we have 2 minutes left for complete this process, okay? Okay, so let's continue with the class. I think we have enough time to complete the activity. And yeah, so I see that actually some of you already answered in the chat. And yep, actually I checked the answer from Ben and it's completely right. So once again, let me show you in the screen directly what will be the actual value for each one of the variables, okay? So the first one, hunger. Let's check very quickly. Hunger is something that works for the player or for the map. So each player is going to have the hunger, so it's going to be actually a private variable, okay? Now let's check the armor. Armor works for each player, correct? Each player can have a different amount of armor depending on the equipment that the player is going to have. So it's going to be a private, sorry. Okay, so now let's move to the hour. Hour is going to something that is going to affect all the players at the same time, all the creatures, and also the weather, so it's going to be a global variable. Number of players, this is a little bit tricky, but yes, the number of players is measured by the game, so it's going to be a global variable. The mount, each player is going to have their own mount, so it's going to be a private one. The skin, this is a variable also, if you didn't know it, guys, and the skin is going to be a private variable because each player is going to have their own skin. Even knowing that in some maps you can set up all the skins for the same players at the same time, it's going to be a private variable. The player nickname, of course, is going to be a private, and the map name, as is something that we change for the behavior directly with the map, is going to be a global, okay? So I see, guys, that you actually are taking attention for it. Okay, so just to let you know, guys, we are going to submit also this class as a video, so later you will be able to check also all the class, just in case you miss some parts, okay? All right, so we are going to now do the process that we are waiting for, and we are going to start to create the triggers for setup of the basic movement about your map, okay? So remember that in the last class, we create some locations, right? Remember that we create one starting location, and also we create a couple of options more. We create three different checkpoints, right? Some of you guys show me your maps during the process and show me your process in their game. And yeah, I see that most of you create actually more than three checkpoints. For the example, I'm going to use only three, but you can change that and you only need to create more triggers for it, but it's going to be just the same, okay? To start this and to be able to set up everything, remember that each checkpoint has to have an area, that is actually where you activate the trigger, a locations, that is where we are going to save the checkpoint, and a physical frame that is going to indicate the player that we are going to have actually checkpoint, okay? So switching back to the game and moving back, we are going to use the map that we are creating. Remember that the last time I create this one to be able to show you the speedway, the lane, the track, and all the information. So here we are again. As you see, each one of the different parts of the map are going to have the area that is going to detect that the player passed through, the location below the area, and the physical frame, okay? For this, we are going to use some specific variables. It's very important to take note of these variables because we are going to use it, okay? So what we need to define what elements we have in game, okay? We want to measure first how many laps the player has been complete. So just guess what? We are going to actually have one for measuring the laps that the player has been complete. Also, we are going to have another one to do the checkpoint. Remember that we need to know in which checkpoint the player is going to have or is located right now. Finally, as in my map, my personal map, and maybe in yours, the players will be able to die. We're going to create a variable to know in which or to change the spawn point for the player. That means that if the player dies, it's going to just revert in the last checkpoint. Okay, so please take Pay attention for this because it's going to be very important for the map, okay? All right, I'm going to start. So let's switch to mini world again. You're probably seeing my screen right now. Okay, so yes, once again, we already just create this specific frames in which the player is going to renew all the system, and we are going to start with the basic one that is going to be the start point, okay? So open the trigger screen. Again, you need to hit on this specific button on the top that looks like a map with a pencil on it. It's going to be called Developer Tools. Now you're going to create a new trigger set. The trigger set is going to be called checkpoints, okay? Very important because we are going to do a lot with it. For checkpoints, now we are going to create a new trigger. The trigger is going to be the start point, okay? Start point because we have to create from 0 to the ends. And before adding anything to the trigger, remember to rename it. It's very important because you will get a little bit lost. So we are going to select spawn 1, and we are going to just do a clarification and say initial point. All right, so remember, this is not only going to work as a checkpoint, it's also going to renew the laps, and probably it's going to do some extra things like making the player win, also get some items or do different things. So it's very important that you rename it. It's going to be one of the most important, okay? In event, we can choose some options right now, also in conditions and actions, but first we need to create those specific variables that we are going to use. That's why we learned to use the areas. So what we are going to have some specific triggers, variables. The first one is going to be a location. That is going to be the global locations. We already create those specific variables when we create the locations and the areas. The second one is going to be the player checkpoint. So what is going to be this variable for? Is going to measure exactly in which checkpoint the player is, and it's going to be a private variable, and it's going to be a value, okay? To create a variable, just hit on here. As you are going to see, we have two different options here to create the global variable, and the second one is going to be the private variable. As this is going to be a private, we are going to hit create new variable under the private option, and read this. You have this new screen, correct? On this new screen, you are going to see some options, right? First says variable type. This is which kind of container has. Remember the example about the containers? Let me switch back again to the app, to the presentation. So you will have I can remind you what we did. So remember that we have different kind of containers. All right, so we are going to do the same in game. Okay, so let me switch to the game. Okay, so we have our trigger here. What we are going to do is to just click on here where it says variable. On here, we are going to add a new variable here. Remember that it needs to be in private. Now that you are seeing this screen, you're going to see the container option or the variable type on the top. Remember, the containers, we have different ones. So we are going to choose for this one, value. Important things, a pro tip, when you switch to scripts, this value is also being called as an integer. Integer means that is a number, okay? So we are going to choose variable, a value, and we are going to change the name. Very important. I recommend it to use the same one that I use, but it's on you guys, okay? Player checkpoint. So probably you noticed that I write this with a specific uppercase and lowercase option. This is something that you have to learn, guys, and in the future, if you want to get into game developing and just learn how to do it, we have a specific way to create the names for the variables depending on what the variable is going to do, and also to be easy to read. So if you see, the variable cannot have spaces, and if you place the first letter in uppercase, it's going to be easier to read. The default value for this one, it's very important. We are going to choose 0. That means that the player is going to be in the start point, okay? So we are going to assign different values. Let me switch to the presentation again, and just let me show you what I mean, okay? Just give me a second. Okay, so now you're seeing in the screen presentation. So remember this, guys, we are going to create a specific name for each one. Okay, so when the checkpoint variables is on 0, that is going to be this one, the player is going to be just in the starting point. When this variable, the checkpoint, is going to be number 1, or is going to be have a value of number 1, that means that the player is on the second checkpoint or the first checkpoint. Let's remove the start point as a checkpoint and let's call them initial point, and the checkpoints are going to be called just checkpoints, okay? If the player has the value of 2, it's going to be in the middle one, and if the player has a value of 3, guess what? It's going to be in the last one, okay? Probably if you place more than 3 checkpoints, you are going to have more numbers. You only need to reply that, so the other checkpoint is going to be the number 4 and like that, okay? So remember, this variable, the one that we have here in MiniWord right now, it's going to have a value of 0. That means that it's just located on here, on the starting point, okay? All right, so let's move back to MiniWord and we are going to save this one. As you see, MiniWord tells you which kind of value or which kind of container did you have for that variable. With that, we already create the first one. We are going to now create the second variable. Now remember that I told you that we need to renew how many laps the player does. So we are going to create another one. Again, we are going to use value. Remember to choose value here. We are going to change the name here. So this variable is going to count the player amount of laps. So we are going to use player laps. The value is going to be 0. This is very important in this case because we are going to increase this value. That means that each player that completes the lap is going to increase this value in 1. And we have the first variables. So with this we can work already. What we are going to do? We are going to start the trigger. What do we have here? Okay, so we are going to select a new action, a new event. The event is going to be if the player enters an area. The area, it's going to be the first area, okay? So hit on choose area. And on here, you see that I already named the areas to just easily and quicker manage this. So we are going to select initial. Okay, so this is going to just fires when we enter the initial point. The action, the condition is going to be the next one. And we are going to use this one, math, okay? In math, we have different functions. We are going to use this one that says numerical comparison. And what does it mean? It means that we are going to compare two numbers. The first one, in this one, we are going to choose variable boundary, and you are not going to see anything. Why do you are not going to see anything? Because if we choose this option, we are going to only be able to select global variables. And remember that the one that we create is actually going to be a private one, okay? So what does it mean? It means that we need to use something that is called functions, okay? Functions is something more advanced than triggers, and we have this second function. So when we hit on there, we will have like different operations. To be able to choose a private variable, we need to choose player. And on here, you are going to see different options. We can choose some default variables like the player attribute that can be the life, the numbers of items that is the player owned, the facing angle that actually is going to be the direction of the players. But for this one, as we need a specific variable, we are going to use player's private variable, okay? Remember guys, we select again, just to show you again, you select value, the first one, then you choose function, library, select player, and then select player's private variable. Now, remember red means that we need to choose a value. That means that for this specific one, we are going to choose the player that is in the trigger, the player who enters the area, and we are going to choose the variable, okay? Now, you're going to see a new menu. And right here, you are going to be able to see the variables that we just create. Remember that are private variables for the player and our values. All right, so we are going to choose player checkpoint, and we are going to choose a value here. So let me explain something important back in the presentation, because I need you to understand this. This is very important, okay? So remember, moving back here, we have different values for each one. Okay, so why we need to look these specific graphics? We need to add a condition, and the condition is that the player is only going to renew the checkpoint if the checkpoint that is actually set up for this player is the last one. So if we are going to start the game, if we don't choose the right one, the player will be able to renew the lap as soon as he starts and pass just for this specific checkpoint or the start point. What we need to do is to be sure that the player moves around all the way to the road and then renews the road. So that means that this checkpoint is only going to work if the activation or the last point that the player passed through is the third one, okay? So the value is going to be 3 in my case. In your case, if you have more points, remember to select the last one, okay? So if the checkpoint, the actual checkpoint of the player is the last checkpoint, that in my case is going to be the number 3, we are going to run the actions. And what will be the actions? First, we need to set up the checkpoint. That means that if the player passed again for this specific location, the checkpoint is going to be saved as 0, okay? If the player passed through 1, it's going to be saved as 1. So we are working currently with this. And if the player already has been passed for the last checkpoint, it's going to set up as 0, like restarting the way. So let me switch back to the mini word screen. And on there, you are going to see this. So we set up the player checkpoint is equal to 3, or the last one. We are going to set up the player checkpoint to 0. For this, we are going to scroll down, and on here you are going to see different options. The one that we use to set up variables, it doesn't matter if it's a global or is a private one, is scripts, okay? Assign. Assign will show you the different containers or classes that value of variables that you have. As we are going to use value, because we are working with numbers, you need to choose value, set up the value, and we are going to choose the variable. Remember, here we are not going to find the variable, we need to use function library. On functions, we are going to just switch to player. There's one that is going to be called player private value, and in player private value we are going to select checkpoint. And now we are going to select the number. So remember that we are going to set up just the last one. Right here, in the presentations, we have the starting point as a number 0. All right, so yeah, just do the same here. We are going to choose 0, close down this, and we have our first part. Now, we already have the checkpoint renewal, but we left something. So as this is on the starting point, when the player passes through, we want to increase a lap. That means that the player is going to have a lap, an extra lap, right? Because we already complete all the route. So what we are going to do here, we are going to add a new one, correct? We are going to use assign also. And guess what? We are going to choose value 2. And this time we are going to select a different one. We are going to choose again function library, player values, and we are going to choose the laps, okay? As we choose the laps, we are going to increase one value, okay? How we can increase this value? We need to use functions again. So for the second parameter, we are going to choose the number 0. On there, we are going to select function. And as we want to add another, we have to, add another value, okay? So it's going to be on math. When you want to press, divide, add, or just create some basic mathematical operations, you are going to choose numerical calculation. Here it's going to ask you for a value that is going to be the initial value. So the initial value, it's going to be the actual number of laps. For this, you are going to choose again function library. Just like the first time, you need to select player's private value. in private variable, we are going to choose laps. And now we have the reference. We know which variable we are going to change. We are going to select here to add and the number that we are going to add. So each time that the player completes one lap, we are going to add one number to it. And then close down and close this. As you see, we have almost everything working. We only left one thing, and is make sure that the player, if the player dies, is going to report in that area. And that's very simple to do. We are going to choose another actions. We are going to select player and change player respawn point. Remember that we create for each one of the checkpoints an area and also a location. We are already using the area here, and we are going to use the location to report the player. So we are going to select here. We are going to select the second one, the one that says event position, and we are going to choose the location. And just check the location that is for that spawn point. In this case, is going to be spawn point number 1. And yeah, we already have our first checkpoint. So what we have to do to complete all the checkpoints, we need to copy and paste, okay? So guys, if you're seeing my screen, probably you know how to do it. Just let me repeat you. So you hit here, you hit copy, you paste here, and now you change the name, okay? Spawn point number 2. With that, we are going to know which spawn point you are going to do reference to. Now we are going to check the information. So it's going to be almost the same, but we only need to change the information. So now we are going to select the next area. We already choose the initial area. Now we are going to choose the checkpoint 2. Correct? Remember, we are working around the circuit, so we already choose the first one. Now we are going to move the number 1, okay? So let's switch back to the remaining word, and you are going to just save that. Here, as we already need to be passed to the first point, we are going to change this to the initial point. Remember the value for the initial point? We defined that for the initial point, we are going to select the value of 0. So that means that if the number 0 is here, that means that the player already passed from before through the actual initial point, okay? And here we need to select to which value it's going to have for the player checkpoint. What will be the value for this checkpoint? Is going to be the number 1, right? So yeah, you guessing right. We are going to change this for number 1. As you see, they are just hitting input. That is going to be quicker. Now, for this, we are going to increase the laps. Remember that this specific action increases the laps. Well, as this is only a checkpoint, we need to remove that one, okay? So for the one that increased the laps, we are just going to delete it. And now we are going to change something different. What we are going to change? We are going to change here for the option that says where is going to reborn the player. So we just keep the same, we just change the location. And we are going to hit choose location. And we want the player now to reborn in the second spawn point. And yeah, we already finished with it. We are going to do the next one. And this is going to be much faster. So we only need to copy and paste. Change the name to checkpoint number 3. Now, on here, we are going to change again the values. Select change in the area. We need to choose the area number 3. Correct. For the value, as we are going to work with the previous checkpoint, we need to select the checkpoint number 1 on here, okay? Important things, remember that we just passed just next to the previous checkpoint, so select here the number 1, okay? And yeah, as you see here, we have just the same script for those two. The only difference are going to be the information. So here we are going to select script spawn point number 1. We are going to set up for the third spawn point this specific value as number 2, because remember that this is the checkpoint number 2. Once again, I switch to the presentation. And yeah, remember that we are working now in the number 2. That is the one that is in the top, is the middle one. So this one is going to be also the number 2 because we set it up as a number 2. On here, we are going to change again the spawn point to the third checkpoint, that is going to be spawn point number 3. And once again, we have to create the last one, okay? So once again, copy, paste, change the information inside. For this one, as this is going to be the last one, we are going to choose the area. We are going to choose the area number 4. Then we are going to change this value. It needs to have passed before for the spawn point number 2. And we are going to set this as the spawn point number 3. That is the last one. Once again, I switch to the presentation. Okay. All right. So as you see here, we are on the last one. That is going to be have the value of number 3. Okay. And finally, the spawn point is going to be the last spawn point. That is going to be the 4th. As you see, it's a little bit confusing to have different names, so I'm going to rename the different points just to match with the value that we add to each one, okay? So for doing this, if you have the same problem, just select this one and we are going to change the name, okay? So checkpoint number 1 is, or number 0, sorry, is going to be the initial point. Checkpoint number 2, sorry, number 1 is going to be the second checkpoint. Yep, like that. Just go ahead and change all the names if it's confusing for you. Remember, I'm just doing this to make it having a little bit easier of information, but you can choose whatever you want on it, okay? Also, change the locations if it's confusing for you. So I'm going to change the location's name. Spawn point number 1 is going to be in E. Sorry, number 0. So we are going to be sure that we have the same value. Spawn point number 2, number 1, sorry. And yeah, just continue like that. Remember that the numbers needs to be consecutive. And that's it. Let's take a look now how our trigger looks, okay? So as you see here, when we change this, it's going to change all the information, so it's going to be easier to read. All right, so right now the lab system is working. We are renewing the different labs, but as we don't show the player how many labs it's having, we don't have a way to make the player know that it's already completing a lab, okay? So what we are going to do this, we are going to switch to the initial point, the trigger that is the first one that we create, and we add a new action, and the action is going to be very easy, okay? For now, we are going to select a simple one, and tomorrow I'm going to teach you how to improve this a little bit more, okay? We're going to select display chat info. On here, we are going to select input, and we are going to complete the text. You can say new lab completed. And also we are going to send a message to the player. So select another action and add this one, okay? So in here you have different options. There's one that says display text to the player. That's going to create a small text in the front of the player, or that means that the player will be able to read. And just here, chat or type again, new lab completed. And that's it. Let's play and let me show how it works, okay? So right now we are here, we are in the starting point. All right, so if you see here, I'm not renewing any lab if I pass just in front. If I keep moving, 1, 2, and to the third checkpoint, now I will be able, if everything works fine, to renew the lab. Okay, as you see, we cannot cheat, it's only count the lab if we complete the circuit. Okay, also, if it's working fine right now, if I die after I pass in those points, I mean if I just fall down, I'm going to restart the game on the last checkpoint that is going to be right there. Let's see if that one works. All right, yes, as you see, I didn't like reborn on there. I reborn in the last one. So let me show you another example. I'm going to die after pass this one. Let's wait until I die. And all right, so now it's working, guys. So we have now the phase for creating our game. As you see, we have just like the basic things. We can complete some labs now. So tomorrow, I'm going to take some extra time to teach you how to improve this part and also how to show the player the labs. So let me show you an example now. Going to a little bit more advanced map. And let me show you again in the map that I create for this example. So, as you see here, you are going to see some different factors that are going to improve the playability, okay? So on the top of the screen, you are going to see a lap time. We also are going to learn how to do that. Also, when you complete the lap, let me show you. And as you see, we're using also the speed pad that I teach you how to do. When we complete the complete lap, you are going to see that we not only are going to receive the message that says that we complete a new lap, we also get the amount of time that we complete and the amount of laps that left to complete and win the game, okay? So tomorrow we are going to learn how to complete that part. Also, we are going to learn how to do some basic skills, like as an example, this one that makes you invisible. For this, we are going to do or create with scripts, okay? So for now, that's going to be all the class for now. Guys, I'm going to let you go now. Okay, so important things, I will take another 10 minutes right on the live view for those that want to show me some of your games and review some maps, okay? So I know that, guys, that you like to do this specific, okay? So, yeah, if you have any other question before we finish the class, just let me know here in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer the classes. If you don't have more answers, we can go ahead and we can play. Just let me know which map you want to show me and I will be more than happy to play. We have 10 minutes to play, okay? All right, so let me know in the comments which map we want to start with. Okay, so let me read you. Oh, not a problem, Ben. It's a pleasure. And thank you for coming, guys. I really appreciate that you coming and yeah. Oh, don't forget, before you leave, guys, remember that we add a new group just for you to have some questions. So if you have some questions, please join to the Discord channel, and there I will be able to answer if you want to show me some advances of your game. So I will be able to just qualify how you work and give you some instructions. I will be able to check that. So please join to the Discord channel. Remember that the description is having the link. And yeah, I already got the map here. So you want me to test Teddy, right? All right. So let me see here. Your ID is going to be 11. Okay. So you already create the map, or actually you want me to download it? Okay, Casey, I'm going to search for your map and I'm going to host the actual game, okay? So just give me a second. I'm going to search here. Search, let's switch for creator. All right. And yeah, which one is it? It's the one that says steady. All right, I'm downloading it right now to check your map. Okay. So guys, for those that want to play this game, remember that you can access to my UID. I'm going to let you know my UID right now here. All right, right now in the screen, you should be able to see the UID is for those that didn't know how to to access, you need to search the ID. It's going to be 27696, sorry, 6923. Oh, okay, a little bit confused. Okay, let me start over. It's going to be 2769323, okay? And yeah, please access to the map and let's play together. Hi Ben, how are you? Okay, so I see that you place a personal music, so you did the circuits for the music, right? Yeah, an old map. Okay, I see. So if you want to access, just join us. Okay, I don't know what to choose. Let me choose fighter. Okay, so it seems that we have to find a teddy, right? Okay, I see. So you have some interactions for them. Okay, I really like that you have created some music system, and that's actually very nice. Oh, for this door, I think you need to fix it because I'm not actually able to access. I don't know if you design it in that way, but it's a little bit confusing. Now, actually, this one is working fine. Okay, I found the teddy bear. Okay, I see it's like a terror game. Oh no, I already killed. So I don't know where do I have to do? If you can explain a little bit more in the comments. I see. I have to fight up to these specific monsters. Okay. All right. Something that I really liked of the models is that you play with the concept of order and also to be cute. So that is contrasting, but it's nice actually. So I really like the Destiny for your game. It's like a satanic game. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, you're doing a great job with it. And I also like the interaction. I guess I have to get the key for this, so it's very easy to play and read. I see. Okay. And I actually see that you do a lot of models. Oh, it's actually damaging a lot. Okay, I'm going to... Okay. So I guess we have to defeat them, or defeat him to win. Oh my god. Okay, so I have to avoid get the match. No, no, no. Okay, I think I'm going to die. Yes, I'm die. Yeah, I think so because I die also. Okay, we kill him. And now... Oh my gosh. Actually, I like the idea that you are playing with the effects. That's actually pretty cool. It's a short game, but it's very nice. Only things I should change. I think that you need to create some instructions for the player at the beginning. It doesn't need to have that much large. It needs to be concise and straight to the point. But I really like your map. Okay, I'm just going to actually later I'm going to do a review of it, and because I really like it and I really enjoy it. Okay. All right. So guys, did you have any other map that you want me to show, that you want to show me or to play? We still left some minutes there. We have some 40 minutes to test another map. Okay. All right, guys. So if you have a specific map, just let me know in the comments, okay? On the chat, in the real-time chat. Yeah, that was crazy, actually. But I really like the end. It's like letting you know that you win, but actually, it's like making you feel that you're inside the game. Also, well, as no one is actually showing like any map or something, let me show you some of the last projects that I'm making here. Okay, so this is a new map, guys, that I'm working with, just to show you what you can do actually when we learn to create the scripts, okay? So let me do a quick review of it. If you want to access to the map, you remember you can join just to the same UID. So I'm going to create the map, and it's pretty simple. It's an arena. You only need to push or pull players. But the cool things about this is that you have some advanced skills, and also you have a multi-arena system. What does it mean? That each time that you play, you can play in a different map. It's actually not going to be a map, really, but yeah, it's make the player think that is having a different map, okay? So once again, if you want to join, you only need to select my UID. Okay, and let me show you how it works. So right now, it's just in developing. Here it's going to be like different skins to choose the players. On here, you will be able to choose the arena and also to choose some specific game systems, because we are going to have different modes to play. And important things about it, you have some specific new features. As an example, you can do a double jump. As you see, we can do a double jump. And the double jump is going to be renewed each time that you hit the floor. This is like the training course. Also, you can climb some walls, like as an example here. I fell, but yeah, you can climb some walls for it. And also you have ultra jump like this one. So let me start the game and let me show you how it's going to work. Okay, so let's play. For this, I'm going to come here and start the game. So as you see here, we're reborn in a specific arena, in a different arena, and each time that you play, you will have a different arena. What we have to do here is to push other players to the abyss. You have some basic skills and you can pick some weapons here. Another important thing is that at less hunger that you have here, more far away you are going to be pushed. So each damage is actually going to reduce the hunger. And as you see, it's something that you can do with variables. So as an example, you see that the arena is something that you can change with variables. So yeah, guys, so just think about it. Let me see. Okay, so as an example, let's check for a player. I think Ben already has, oh, also you have some passive skills. Ben already has a shield. The shield's having 2 skills. Try to use the other one. The second one. Try to use the second one, Ben. as you see, yeah, each weapon is going to have two skills. I need to pick a weapon to be able to defend, so I'm going to search for the one. Oh my god, I feel that. Okay, so. Okay, so I push a player, as you see. That was something that actually I'm not. Oh, okay. Let me pick that one, Ben. Oh. Okay, so yeah, Ben picks. Oh my god. I almost died. Oh. Oof. I just saved myself with climbing walls. Okay. And yeah. Let's kill Ben. Okay, bye bye. Die. Okay. Also, you have some buffs. As an example, I hear a little bit, and also you can pick some specific extra buffs for your bow and for all your weapons. Oh my god. Come on. Oh. Oh my god, I die. So yes, guys, if you want to test this game in real time, just access to my map, okay? So I'm going to let the UID on the comments. And yeah, that's all for now. Thank you so much for assisting the class, guys. Don't forget that tomorrow at the same time we will have the next class. And yeah, have an excellent day. Bye bye. And thank you so much for assisting, okay?